Hi all, this is A Story Whispered. I am beginning the new year 2 weeks late. Just as I was born, I guess I need a moment for a transition to click with me. But this is actually quite purposeful. As someone with something of an addiction to January 1st, the annual reset button, where somehow the woman that was disappears in an act of magical thinking to rival David Copperfield and is supplanted by Lady Liberty or a plane or something equally impressive. It is the myth of the tabula rasa, myth invested with great power, where all my old wants and ways and thoughts, by a flick of a switch, stop haunting me. A myth invested with great power, a narrative that makes sense to us on a deep biological level, because it is the power of Eos, goddess of the dawn. It's the power we invest in ourselves every night when we go to sleep. The idea that tomorrow will make anything less potent, or tomorrow will make everything inert come alive. When we transition as the moon transitions through the sky, when our subconscious reorders and reprioritizes, the truth, we hope, can reassert its dominance over us, wipe clean of our failures, washed of our sins and misdeeds, who we are, and our power to actualize our intentions is dead center in our view. January 1st, I long believed we could reach out and collect our annual map to getting it right this time. It was imbued with my belief, and so imbued with intense magic, almost insurmountable magic. I would spend the last month of the year, sometimes the last 3 months of the year, falling towards it, slouching towards this Bethlehem, insisting in my mind of mind and heart of hearts that the overeating, the sloth and avarice, the lust and despair, the addictions and apathy would hit January 1st like a brick wall and drop away from me. This is, of course, a national, a global delusion. It's one that is quite necessary and natural. This magic is powered by hope, the most dangerous and beloved monster in Pandora's box. This time, by virtue of the clock, by virtue of aligning stars, by virtue of a new dawn, by something outside of me demanding it, I will get out of my own way. I will be inside the chrysalis that is formed around me and emerge transformed. We see such things if we dare to spend a little time outdoors, if we read a book or two, listen to the old tales. But after many years of ruining myself to make good on a midnight, to meet and make a tabula rasa of my very spirit when the clock strikes 12, like me and Ebenezer, always waking up on the first, full of 3 months of madness that refuses to heed the boot I'm trying to take to it. Somewhere around this time on any given year, I feel I have wasted the magic. I've blown off the power with my lack of commitment, my human imperfection. I've allowed the little gremlins and beastlings and unhelpful habits to sneak through the beautiful threshold, clinging like burrs on my stockings, hidden inside that great, big, temporal boot. So what I've come to realize is that what I need is not a fresh start. I need a lustratio. Lustration, as the Romans knew it, was an act of purification by sacrifice. It would be done whenever there was a wrong against a person, indeed against an entire city, seeking out the impurity they sensed through their own guilt. For those gods asked for blood, animal blood, a pig, a ram, a bull, sacrificed to feed the people and make profaned and desecrated land and wounded parties sacred again in the eyes of the gods. The sacrifice would walk the streets of the city, the scapegoat, absorbing the communal guilt, the sin itself, into its flesh. But this was not the only way. To wash, to fumigate, to mark clay, to confess. I don't think in these modern times that these modern forces, wheresoever they sit and judge and pull at the strings of the world, thirst for animal flesh, would find it any significant sacrifice. But for truth, for an honest assessment, an apology for mistreatment of self and others, for accepting one's shortfalls and assessing what is meaningful as a path forward for yourself and the city of believers reliant upon you, metaphorical as it all may be, must be a much rarer evolution to offer. It has the same effect, an acknowledgement of what was, where there was error and hurt, where there was injustice, where action did not meet intention, and then it forms a path forward. Daydream of January, of a new year, new you, concept of resolutions, in my mind, asks for no such acknowledgement. Tabula rasa asks for a mind wipe, for a pre-lapsarian fugue state, a beginner's mind, when you, as I have spent our lives beginning and beginning again. We are less bodies than we are stacks of rough drafts. You almost have to put on your blinders and say, la la la, I am just capable now, by sheer force of my will, to never again look backwards. But we will all always look backwards eventually, Orpheus. Some beautiful things happened back there. Instead, I think the magic I want to cast is here, in the air. Somewhere after the shadow of January 1st has been burnt away by several mornings, with Eos sipping her tea, distractedly letting the sun linger, rosy-fingered, on the horizon, while I make no concrete plans to set my alarm to meet her. The spell we are inventing calls for a glass of cold water, quiet afternoon, pot to simmer with rosemary and lemon and sage, or a candle to burn to put something herbal and bracing in the air. And the time it will take to explore this latest chapter in the tome that is our life. Sitting still, holding this glass, I see the ways I was selfish, where I was fearful, where I promised to treat myself with kindness and punished myself instead. I see my resentments, my jealousies, my judgments and acts of ego, when I actually had ample opportunity to live as I valued. I see the joyful news that sustained my mother's life, another 365 days. I see the niece that appeared and rattled the old bones of this world with her smile. I see the swirl of cats at my ankles that made this hermitage an amusing cave to caper in. I see the gifts that found their way to my door that I did not say thank you for. I see everything I can remember. And I drink. I drink to acknowledge this year of my life. How I tried, how I stumbled, how I turned up, how I wrote, how I failed as a priestess of the void, desperate for concrete answers and feeling constantly assured. Where I've been cruel to myself for being human and not a stone plinth, solitary and unbothered by need. How I hurt people by not being willing to speak the truth, my truth. I drink this glass half full. This year, I want to say thank you for my blessings, for this quiet hermitage, for anyone who thinks I have anything to offer in terms of wisdom, for anyone willing to share some of their own. This year I want to open up one of the 100 walls around my heart. This year I want to write even closer to the bone. This year I want to grow wings and soar over oceans. This year I want to eat the black flower, the red one, the white. This year I want to meet my wild twin. This year I want to read more than I scroll social media. This year I want to tell many stories and find the people who need to hear them. This year I want to be a vessel for the truth. And the truth is I want to be a vessel for love. And I drink this glass a quarter full. And breathe, holding this potential, holding this book of my life gently in my hands, examining where there is more to say, where I've tried to hold a little back from the eyes overhead, from the eyes within who know me best, taking ownership of my intentions and accepting that whether they are or are not to be is entirely up to me. With what remains, I anoint my forehead, my temples, the tip of my nose, my chin, my eyelids, my collarbone, my earlobes, the tips of my fingers, my toes, my Achilles heel. The blessed tingling. I just try to be for a moment. Feed the rest of the water to the tree in the corner, because I will not get all of this right this go round. I will not manage perfection. The world will take its share as its due. If you have sage, you might burn and waft it here. If you lit a candle, you might blow it out now. The ritual ends here, along with its solemnity. Thank you for your listening. I wish you well as you carry forward your life and purpose into 2023. Lucky 2023. I'm always happy to hear from you, and we'll catch up again next week. Sleep well.